Hi, I'm Joshua Farley.
And I'm Marcus Soto.
And this is Inside Our Industry, where we share weekly insights on everything to do with the electric and solar industry, contracting, and best practices. I guess people like seeing people talk shit about people.
Facts.
Facts. I love watching a good shit-talking video. Especially when it's things that I know that the guys that are commenting on it are wrong.
Yeah. Yeah.
Which camera
It's
gets
like
the close-up?
Everybody's wrong.
Listen, I'm never right.
Never right.
I've been wrong a few times in my life.
Well, I don't assume.
We're just getting right into it. This is what we do. We look at pictures of other fucking electrical work. That's what we do? Is this what we do? We're looking at other shit and we're just fucking commenting on it. Right? Is that right, Matthew?
Talking shit.
That's right. Who did this? Wait, is that a water line?
No, it's LED.
Oh, it is LED.
Yeah.
I was like, is that like a fucking refrigerator line? Let me see.
It's like rope lighting.
Did that zoom in anymore?
I zoomed it as much as I want.
Because I was like, is that shoe? Oh, there's a shoe from a guy sitting over here. Okay, got it. I was like, wait a second, how'd that guy put his foot like that? It is rope lighting. Is it on? Or is that outlet switch?
It should be on.
I like how it took 4 straps and one of them's not on. Like looks like this is missing a
Just
strap.
miss.
2, 3, 4 here, and then it looks like like maybe it was up there before, and now they're fixing it, and they got it strapped up the side.
Good job fixing it.
But if this is the only power that we could do it from, not what would Redline do, what is a different way that this could have been done? Right? You want me to start? Are you speechless?
Are we assuming that line came with like it's like a piece of SO, right? Almost like it came with live like copper at the
okay,
end
so
of it.
here's
Not a receptacle.
So here,
right?
let me paint the picture, okay? Here you are in your one bedroom or your one room business. And you have one door and one outlet. Nothing else. That's it. That's all you got. You got this is your only power. Mm-hmm. And in the mail, Amazon drops off at the front door a roll of fucking LED rope light. And at the end, it had a cord and 3 wires hanging out of it. Probably not even LED rope light because I don't see a transformer anywhere.
I like the idea of just plugging it in.
Like putting a cord cap on it.
Like putting a cord cap on it and just plugging it in.
I like that too. Another way you could do it is, that would have been my first, I think that's probably the first option. Is like,
right.
Let's just put a cord cap on there. They sell them down there, black, white, and green. And you just put it in there, screw it in, and fucking plug it in.
Boom. Boop. Power.
You could take the outlet out, put a single gang like cover with a hole in it, and like bring it, and then do like a 90-degree connector into the side and just make it like that. But then you lose the outlet.
Yeah, you only got one outlet in this room.
Right, so you can't do that.
You can't do that.
Because that's our only power, and our business is letting people come and plug things in.
Right. And charge their phones.
That's our business. Like, yeah, whatever. Like, you need to borrow some power for 2 minutes. That's our business, right?
Right.
The other option would be you could take it out, put like an extension box, like a 4-square extension box, and wire it in like that, hardwire, but using a KO,
the outlet.
using a KO and a SO connector,
Right.
and then an industrial cover. You want to do an industrial cover, not a mud ring and a regular cover. I see a lot of like 4-square boxes with a mud ring and the device, and then like a steel cover.
Oh yeah.
But that's not like you want industrial cover.
What about that sweet strapping job? Like what happened with that? You gonna use MC 1-hole straps to strap that thing to the wall?
Sure. I mean,
I probably would use MC.
I mean,
1-hole
they
straps,
make
yeah.
all sorts of different
But, like,
one-hole straps, but
let's clean it up. Like how many you need?
how are you gonna make that clean? No strap would look cleaner than this, because then this would just go down and come over and go back up. They're trying to keep it off the floor. I wonder why. Maybe my business is loaning out power to people that come in the boat, like water. Maybe there's water everywhere. I went too far on that one. I'm never going back to that. Anyways, yeah, no, that's just, hey, I did what I could with what I got, and that's what you get. Today I learned that my water heater was 37.5 amps with a 20 amp replacement plug running 10 amp to my 50 amp breaker. apprentices are still learning how to talk about electric work, so, or it's just somebody that doesn't know that you're talking, they think they know and they're talking jargon. Okay. First of all, most of your water heaters are running on, I don't know, 20 amps max, like, because they're typically rated for a 30 amp breaker. But needless to say, if this was his water heater, like on the nomenclature, right, like on the label on the thing said 37.5 amps. Yeah. Then you got to add 125% for that overcurrent protection device,
right?
Blah, which is about 47 amps, which they don't sell a 47 amp breaker unless you go to that Ace Hardware that sells the plug that goes like this.
Specialty order from that Ace Hardware.
I mean, yeah, you probably special
Go
order.
ask him. Go ask him for it.
You could probably get a 47 amp rated fuse. If you like shave down a 50 amp, just a hair, like shave the element.
Right.
What the? So maybe he meant to say 20 amp receptacle. With a 20 amp receptacle. Well, first, because like a lot of water heaters are just hardwired. There's not a plug, right? Well, a plug could be a male or a female, right? So but typically a plug is a male and the receptacle is the device. But all right, let's go back. All right, so here we got 20 amp receptacle. So it's a 20 amp 250 volt receptacle. So the voltage is right, the amperage is wrong, especially if it's if it needs a 50 amp overcurrent device, right?
Yep. Needs to be a 50 amp receptacle.
But I don't see 50 amp anywhere in this equation. So today I found out that my water heater is 37.5 amps, my receptacle's 20, and my cord cap is 10, but my breaker is feeding the 50 amps. Yeah, I want to know what size wire he's rated at. I would love to see the size wire that's coming into this device because, 50 amp rated wire is not going to fit on that.
No, absolutely not.
So they're going to have to either, more than likely, guys doing something like this, took that 50 amp wire and just trimmed it off.
Yeah.
Made it small enough to twist around there. Probably just taped it up, and that's safe. So whatever the breaker's rated, it has to have everything that going down the line. Yeah. 50 amp breaker, 50 amp rated wire.
Yep.
Which some people argue, depending on where it is, it's number 8 and number 6. Yeah. Don't start. It's number 8 or number 6, depending on the installation specifications. Okay, you can check it out in your code book, depending on what wire size, what raceway you're using, where it's run at, blah blah blah. What type of wire? Yes. Yep. So now I want to say 50 amp rated cord, cap, cord, all the way up. Everything should be rated 50 amps. However, manufacturers and some places get away with having a manufactured whip that's not rated per NEC standards, but it's rated per the manufacturer standards.
Yeah.
Which it's allowed. So like when you get an oven and you plug in, you got a new oven and it comes with a cord on it, you can tell that sometimes that cord isn't rated for 50 amps in the scenario that you have. Blah, blah, blah. Moving on.
Manufacturer. Do it the way the manufacturer says.
Right. Don't do it like that. The old BFCI. The old BFCI. These were invented back in the 60s. And you could tell when they were getting ready when they're overloaded, they start going bzzz. And actually, that's when they're running perfectly. It's when that buzzing stops. It's when you have a problem. Good one. This is a good one. I like this one. I was out in Paradise Valley one year. I was going to test a circuit. He said he tripped a breaker, blah, blah. I was opening up the panel. I moved to his recycle bin, and 2 rattlesnakes were sitting right there. About jumped those recycle bins trying to get out of there. This is funny, though, like in-use cover. It's a bell box, bell box extend and a big in-use cover. I imagine he opened his lid to go plug in something, his Christmas lights or something, like whoop, right into the honey. Hey, Matthew, write that down. Yeah, we're going to give it a test. We'll test. Let's see. Then the future of Inside Our Industry is going to have a laboratory. It's going to have a lab where we're going to test and blow shit up. You want to see that stuff? Subscribe. Tell your friends to subscribe and ask for it. And one day we'll build that shit.
I love blowing shit up.
Dude, speaking of blowing shit up, I would take like 50. It was we were doing an elevator in the middle of the night, and we had a 50 amp feed coming out. I took those 2 hots and I twisted, wire nutted them together, right? Blew the breaker, and my apprentice was in there with me. It was a different guy, Henry. And I went to turn it on, and I went, boom! Because that's what it does. Listen,
Yep.
don't try this at home. Only trained
Don't
professionals.
do it.
And I had the
Even trained professionals don't do it.
It was a breaker, so I hit that breaker, and it went pow, and I went,
Oh,
and I fell down on the floor and was twitching.
Yes.
This fucking guy didn't reach for his phone to call 911 right away, but I don't think we had cell phones back then. But he was like, oh fuck, oh man, that was fucking best. So I know you guys are out there doing shit like that.
And then he quit.
I know you guys are out there doing shit like that. So let us know. Let us know the craziest stories you got. Also, the wire nut darts. You put the screw through the wire nut. You take a red wire nut, 1/2-inch EMT, cut the wings off. I think it was red wire nut, but there's some other better ones. But if you put the screw the other way, you could shoot them at people, so it doesn't stick.
So, the guys had a story. I think they sent Kevin, the new apprentice. I think they sent him in to get a wire bender. I think they sent him into IES to get a wire bender.
Was that like the wire stretcher?
Yeah, it was like the wire stretcher.
Or
Pretty much. I'll have to ask him. We'll have it on the next episode.
We did that too. We've done that a couple times to apprentices. Hey, go get the wire stretcher. We're going to need 6 more inches out of this.
It happens to people.
No, we're not going to say who. Right, Marcus? Look.
It was 12 years ago.
Never gets old. Never gets old. Who doesn't love to see a massive residential panel?
Oh my gosh.
Federal Pioneer. Dude, they got a swimming pool. It's got to be somewhere cold and heating everything and the pool and the floors. We did a big generator at a house in Ahwatukee that had a big 1,000-amp switchgear. And it was going out to these, and it's because every floor, every tile floor in the house was heated. And he had a pool that was heated. And we're in Arizona. But I'll be honest with you, there's a couple times thinking of that, knowing that was like, I've been in my house, come out, I'm like, man, I wish my pool was heated.
Right.
These floors were warmer.
Yeah, for that 3 months out of the year.
Yeah,
where
exactly.
it's like
That's all it is.
Over 70. or
Hot
under
tub,
70
sauna, panel in the boathouse.
Yeah.
Boathouse. Like, I feel like that's like an old gas station where you walk in, it's like all in one, but it's older for sure. But yeah, we see it all the time. I love it. Bring it on. The bigger, the better. Kansas?
Like
Kansas?
B1.
Kansas.
So he climbed up.
He doesn't look.
Climbed into the wrong meter can.
He doesn't look burnt enough.
Right?
That's
like you
true.
just laid
But-
in there and died.
But
Like
that shit happens. Like I mean, it's he's electrocuted, so maybe he just was on there till it dried out, and it wasn't passing that fucking path to this ground. Which this
is
right
this a
here.
setup. This staged.
Who takes a fucking decomposing rat and throws it in there and stages it? Nobody. No. Although it does look.
Weird-ass fuckers out there.
It does look like a fairly new meter socket. Well, you have to assume that the meter was in there.
Do you have to assume the meter was in there?
How else would he have died?
That's the question. That's why I think that fucking this motherfucker staged. Like
The prongs on my Wiener Warmer seem long. Is this normal? What's a Wiener Warmer? Well,
This is PG.
I know. Well, I'm in Arizona. Like, there's hardly any time there's hardly any times I'm worried about my wiener being warm.
oh, I went
Is it
to
like,
hot dogs.
Hot dogs?
Yeah, I went to like it being a skewer that plugs into the wall that warms, like you stab it through the hot dog and it
Oh, like
warms.
what do they call those fire poke, like those shish kebabs? What is that where you roast marshmallows? What is that called?
I have no idea, but
Yeah.
that's the first thing I fucking
Exactly
thought
what it-
about.
That's exactly what it is.
See, like I said, if you could think it, it's already
It's
been
already
fucking
been
done, right? The prongs on my Wiener Warmer. I've never seen one. That's just wrong. That's some bullshit.
Oh my
That's some
god.
bullshit.
He said that. Oh.
This is electric. This is what you call the electric Trojan. It'll give you the biggest orgasm of your entire life, and the last one.
Who put this in here?
Obviously, it's some fucking bullshit. Is it $4.95? Yes. Okay. The dot.
Ace Hardware.
I thought for somebody.
This is an Ace
dude,
Hardware
this is an
item.
antique. It's worth
Yeah.
$495. Wait, no, $4.95. Sorry. That's funny though. The prongs on that outlet do look a little longer than in relativity to the
Your penis?
In relation to
In relation.
Marcus, I told you not to tell anybody. How did you don't know? You were supposed to pretend like you never seen it. In relation to this definitely looks a little bit longer compared to like what we're using nowadays. But that's funny. Somebody fucking like put a condom. It looks like a cot. Like somebody put whatever it is. They just wired it right in. I love it. I've seen a bunch of these things like random stuff like the suicide machine. You've seen the suicide machine and plugs in.
You should Google it, see if this is a real thing. Maybe that's just a warmer.
new electric hot dog warmer. Yeah,
Now
look it up on
it's gonna pop up on your Facebook.
Data eye candy in my first year as an electrical apprentice. Yes, stuck doing data for now. Well, if you're doing data for now, you're not apprenticing as an electrician.
So he's either like up on the ceiling, working on a camera.
He's running Cat 5 through some hooks.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, there is some similarities to some of that stuff, like when we're pulling jet lines for the data guys, or running conduit for the data guys, or putting boxes in for the data guy. You get where I'm going with this. Like, if you're a data guy, you're not doing anything electric, because the electricians do that shit. All right, let's take a If you're a data guy out there, I'm sorry. I'm just having fun. Man, I'd love to be able to put like 22 fucking 90s in my run from one point A to point B. I would also love to just put all of my bundles together. It's fucking clean, though. I mean, it's clean.
Yeah, it's
it looks nice and clean.
That's one.
It's the last one, so we're going to take just a couple more minutes just to see. Yeah, fuck it, it's data. See you guys.
Okay.